Hello and welcome to Neverwinter with Argon. So with today's patch, they will finally fix our artifact modifications. Finally, you'll have your basically modifications on all of your weapons fully retroactively fixed. No longer should you see a screen like this with some weapons that you aren't using and haven't already used augmentation cubes to go and unlock them. It's been very annoying because we've had the new trial and I can't exactly go and afford to, let's say, not have my 10% extra damage from 0's strike during the trial. I can't just sit by and wait. But they did give us 240 augmentation cubes as compensation. So there's that, and if you decided to use them to go and actually reset these, then I guess you did that and you kind of wasted those cubes. I know I did it and I knew what I was walking into. We can see here that, yeah, they've retroactively fixed everything. So anything that you had unlocked before this change came that ruined everything, you should now have all of those options again, along with all of the values you have rolled. However, if you rolled something higher after the module than what you had before, you'll keep the higher value. So that's great. That's a great fix right there. Unfortunately, on the previous server, there is no access to the new trial yet, which is a bummer because I really prefer to do guild training and just trial training in general on the previous server and just basically teach mechanics there rather than having them on the live server and wasting scrolls, stones of health, especially when you're just training a small group of people and then you have a bunch of other people who are trying to like help them when they already know the trial and stuff, and then they're just doing it out of their good faith, their goodwill, but still having to use their resources of like stones, buff food and all that, and that gets seriously expensive, especially if you're trying to be like a top DPS. The amount of buffs and things you're using every run can just get really expensive. And otherwise, though, they have not added the weapons to the previous server either, meaning I can't just go and get them now since I have 40 plus gems here on the previous server, and then I would be able to test them out. It's a real bummer. I just guess I'm gonna have to wait till I get my set on the live server. Otherwise, there are some reported known issues, such as visuals with some of the scale breaker helmets not working with dragonborns. These new enchantments are not donatable to the guild coffer just yet. They are intending to do that where you can exchange them for gems. And within this new zone, you should be able to activate the heroic encounters more consistently, and they should show their timer when they're activated also more consistently. The timer at which, when you hover over them, how much time's left in the heroic encounter before it just closes. When you looked in the campaign store and let's say you want to do some gear upgrades, here you can see you can upgrade all this gear to legendary. That's just gear you get for the seals. Unfortunately, if you went and put an armor kit in that gear, then you weren't able to go and exchange it anymore. Now this should be fixed. If you have a kit in it and you exchange that piece of gear and like get it upgraded, then you'll get your kit back and it should properly get upgraded to legendary. Now these overloads like your red dragon glyphs, your green dragon glyphs, they're all now named actually dragon glyphs again. They just had a cut off of the glyphs, which was a bit odd. In the auction house, if you go to equipment, you shouldn't see the ability to select a certain enchantment slot as we have on the live server here. When you go, you can see to like gear or armor, and you can see the certain enchantments and then the numbers and so on, and that's been removed as you can see there, since that's no longer viable anymore with the change to enchantments. We no longer have slots for enchantments on our gear. There is some issue where when you go like changing loadout, you get this. Yeah, this is really frustrating, and this is to do with like inventory space and enchantments stacking on top of each other. And if I switch back to my trial build, yeah, everything's unslotted there, and I have to go again and manually slot everything. And this happens when you have like a stack of these enchantments in your inventory. let's see, just here, let's say we have 99 of these amethysts, and this is what's happening. They're like stacking, and then apparently it can't find them anymore and doesn't slot them in. You might have experienced this as well. Hopefully this is getting fixed, but it still hasn't been fixed here. There's some bug related with it as well, with if you don't have enough inventory space, that will also occur. And also the option here in general, you can see there is something missing there. In options on the live server, you can have like selected require a ward to upgrade. With this new enchantment system, you don't really need preservation wards anymore, since you can use like moats and things, and let's say you don't even want to use one in general. Like if you're upgrading something from a low level, then you might be fine with using some of those reagents, especially when you're, let's say, upgrading something from just green. You can see you're just using rank 3 enchanting stones, and you might be fine with just losing those, and thus that option is a bit silly to have to require a ward. So that's being, removed. That's about it. They've said they fixed a few crashes, and otherwise various fixes have been made for various locales. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but you can read the full patch notes in the video, link in the description. In my opinion, very disappointing. They haven't gone and fixed yet all those 0's that we're getting whenever you sprint. Let's check real quick. On my barbarian, we'll rush to these dummies and give them a smack, and yeah, we're still getting 0's. So that's a big bummer, especially for warlock and barbarians who want to use their dashes to immunity frame things, and then they have to wait like a second before they can start dealing any appropriate damage. And also it means animation cancelling isn't a thing either, so long as you're using an offensive combat enchantment. You can switch to a defensive one, get a bit more survivability. Even battle tempered, you get 0's. We can see that here, smack 0. You can use the defensive one like Flash Freeze or the Fortified Nature, and you shouldn't get 0's. Like, we don't get 0's here, so we're all good with the defensive enchantment. But it still sucks, and hopefully they can fix that right away. Apparently not with this patch though, which leads it to be very disappointing. Hopefully they've made some fixes to the trial, because I've had some bugs there where we completed the trial, we were all still stuck in combat, we couldn't open our chests, we got a weapon drop, which was the first out of all the other runs we had completed before. Somebody got their weapon, but none of us got our chests, and that was just terrible. And they haven't contacted me back on whether that was, I don't know, intended, a once-off bug, or it's something that's still persisting and can easily just happen to anybody still. So with that said, hopefully this has been somewhat insightful to you guys. Just the upcoming patch. Again, none of these changes will be implemented until after today's maintenance. So again, I'd like to give a massive thank you to all of my channel members for helping me keep my channel going. And if I present this well, consider leaving the video a like. If you're new around here, consider subscribing. We'll see you guys around. Goodbye for now.